Now let's go back to show, don't tell. Sometimes you need to make it clear to the audience what the story and the plot is. For instance, we need the audience to know that a grandparent has just died, the plot, but also why that's important to the character, the story. Let's say a grandparent has just died. We, the writer, are plotting the story now. We're putting down our seeds and saying that the story starts here. How are we going to do that? This is where our golden rule, show, don't tell, comes into play. To show something is to invite the audience to see all the details and allow them to put two and two together. To tell them is literally to have a character explain what is happening. This is an example of what not to do. Chris: "Oh no, my granddad's dead." No one would ever say that. The character is saying that because I, the writer, want the audience to know that, so I'm telling them. Now let's show it instead. Interior church, day. Chris, wearing a suit, stands beside the open coffin of his grandfather. He touches his cold hand one last time and gives it a tiny squeeze. He lets go. The casket is closed as Chris watches the funeral staff lift the coffin. Now, nowhere in here does it explicitly say the grandfather died. It shows all the key information and alludes to the important facts. Chris holds the grandfather's hand to show a close relationship. If it was a mathematical formula, it would look something like this. Protagonist plus significant person, situation or object plus a reaction equals the story. The meaning is what you leave the audience to work out. You just present them with the information. Here is an example of it happening in one of my films. Here, I want to show the character is a mess. He is an alcoholic and high on drugs. The scene starts with the character arriving late to the studio. He looks at the other character through the window. He's wearing shades to mask his eyes. He looks guilty before entering the room and throwing himself onto the chair. If that was an equation, it would read: protagonist arriving late plus friend busy at work plus the protagonist looking guilty, i.e. reacting guilty, equals the story. The story being that this character is a mess and knows it, but doesn't want his friend to give him a hard time because he admires him. That's the story. It can be daunting to start your script, so we're going to start one together. This is my process and uses a lot of tips from successful screenwriters, but you're welcome to start however you prefer.